This episode of the Tough Talk podcast is proudly sponsored by Williams Harley-Davidson, located in Lebanon, New Jersey. Whether you're looking for your next ride, genuine Harley gear, or an incredible community of riders, stop by Williams Harley-Davidson and tell them the Tough Talk podcast sent you. Located at 1100 US 22 West in Lebanon, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode of the Tough Talk podcast. And at the very beginning of this episode, you probably heard our on-air commercial for Harley-Davidson. And that is absolutely fitting as to why we put that at the beginning of the episode, because this episode is all about how we help businesses and how we help our sponsors grow. And Harley-Davidson, and Williams Harley-Davidson to be specific, down in Lebanon, is a perfect example of what we've been trying to do and what we've been working on building here at the Tough Talk podcast. As you know, we focus on helping local businesses grow, right? So I'm out here in Hunterdon County and Clinton Township, and I try to deal with a lot of different areas, from Clinton Township, Lebanon, Bridgewater, Branchburg, Flemington, all the way out to Phillipsburg and Easton. Those are areas that I've become very familiar with. I've lived out this way for over 20 years now, and I deal with a lot of different businesses, and I have a lot of friends that own businesses, and I enjoy helping them succeed. And when I was winding down my business, mainly because I was getting tired of it. I was at 50, I wanted to do something different. I had been in the sign and graphics industry for 30 years, and whereas I didn't want to do a lot of the manufacturing, I still love the industry. I still work with a lot of sign guys out there, and I love visiting with people that I know that are in the industry and watching all the good things they're doing. And from time to time, I do have people that ask me if I can still help them out with projects and stuff like that. And I always enjoy doing that. I just didn't want to do it on a full-time basis. So I sat down for a while, and it took some time for me to get this to the next step and say, hey, what can I do? What can I do that can actually help other businesses grow, allow me to still do the sales stuff, do the customer service, help businesses get noticed, put growing businesses on the map where they need to be, get new businesses started, help people that are trying to just find their way into what they want to do these days. Because let's face it, the world has changed in so many ways about how we do business. So I knew I had to change as well. So the difference with the Tough Talk podcast here is that a lot of radio stations, they're selling advertising, right? We don't sell advertising. Okay? We like to build relationships that create opportunities for the local businesses. And then in turn, they push the podcast, they sponsor the podcast, and round we go. It's more of a partnership than anything else. And this episode is going to explain, why sponsoring the Tough Talk podcast actually works, right? So I have people ask me all the time, especially businesses that I walk into, right? So when you walk into a business and you see someone sitting there and you want to talk to them about how they can grow their business, obviously I'm going to start talking about the podcast. But the difference is with the podcast is that, they're not hearing it. They're not listening to an episode. They haven't heard what we could do or anything like that. So to them, it's just like I'm walking in there saying, hey, how can I help you grow your business, without any real backed information as far as what exactly I could do for them. But it's a fair question to be like, why should I advertise on a podcast? But in order to get deep into that, I have to pull back the curtain a little bit and show you guys exactly what we do, because we're not selling ad space. That's not what we're looking to do. We want to build connections. We're helping businesses meet other businesses. We're helping events get noticed, that's for sure. And we're helping people who deserve attention actually get attention. We don't need to work with everybody. We don't want to work with everybody. And we want to work with people that fit our motto, that fit our plan, that we want to make sure we fit their plan. It has to be a two-way street. It has to be a good partnership. And it has to be something where we can say, hey, you know what? If I talk to somebody and they're like, hey, I'm looking to get a motorcycle. Okay, where should I go? Okay, not only am I going to just say Harley-Davidson because they're a sponsor and they're an advertiser with me, I'm going to say Harley-Davidson because I've met with them. I've done events with them. I know the guys there personally. I've worked with them. I love their customer service, and and I know their product enough to be dangerous with it and say, look, go to them. They're going to take care of you, right? Another good example is I could say, hey, look, I know somebody said, hey, I'm new to this area. We're going to get good pizza. Now, I could send you down to Main Street in Clinton, in that area. I'm going to tell you there's 7 pizzerias you could try. 7, right? But I'm going to send you to Lenny's. You know why? Because I've done business with those guys. Their food is excellent. They care about their business. They care about the people. They've had struggles with times changing and everything else, and they pivoted and made changes in their business to accommodate their customers more without killing people with rising costs. And everybody's got bills to pay, right? Like, to me, I'm not crazy picky with my pizza, right? There's a way I like it, and I can tell you out of 7 of the pizza places in this quarter-mile area of Main Street in Clinton, I like, there's probably about, let's say 6. There's one that I really don't care for. Like, I'm not knocking it. It's just not my style. But everybody else, the food's fantastic, right? But what are you getting when you walk in the door? Are you getting greeted properly? Is the atmosphere clean? Is the environment clean? Does the food look good? Do they have like just 1 or 2 slices sitting on an empty pan? Or do they have a variety of products that they make every single day so the customers have options? I've always kind of found that in Lenny's. And look, when costs of businesses go up and these guys are getting in their own vehicles and they're driving it directly on themselves. They're not waiting for DoorDash or anybody else to go do it. And they know how to get their hands dirty, like in terms of like doing the jobs that like they're just because they own the place doesn't mean they don't want to put in the work, right? That's the kind of businesses I like dealing with. Harley-Davidson is another one. And there's a lot, okay? There's a lot of good businesses I've started dealing with. Austriya Photo. And most recently, we signed on Bun Busters, which I am going to get into in a little bit. But there's a lot of exciting things going on. There's a lot of businesses that I enjoy working with in this area. And I'll gladly vouch for them. Me personally, I've been in sales for 30 years, and I never in a million years thought I would be in sales. And for me, it was a different kind of selling. It wasn't sitting there playing the price game or undercutting somebody else or acting like a 1960s used car salesman. That wasn't how it was. It was about building relationships. I didn't sell to everybody. If I didn't think it was a good fit, I walked away. If someone was not respecting the time and energy that I had to put into training them and showing them how to be successful with it, because this wasn't like we weren't box pushing. We were selling actual equipment that's going to help build your business, and we had to be knowledgeable of it. And I will say this, look, there's a lot of things that I'm not the greatest at. But when it comes to digital printing, I don't care what mistakes I've made in my career. I don't care what mistakes I've made in life. When it comes to digital printing, and everybody has this thing. Everybody has the same sentence that I'm going to say. All right. I learned my product inside and out. I knew what people needed from me. I knew how to support people, and I genuinely cared about their success, my success, the company's success, everything else. And at the end of the day, I can go as far as to say that when it came to the passion for the sign industry and the graphics industry and the world of digital printers, listen, I was number 1 for selling rolling products for 11 years. And no one's done that straight for 11 years since. So I can tell you that. And it wasn't just because, oh, I'm so good at it. No, I had a passion for it. And that's important to have. Like, especially in business. If you don't care about what you're doing and you're just doing it because you need a job, yeah, you could put food on the table. Yeah, you could pay bills, but you're not gonna love what you do. You're not gonna be excited to go to work in the morning. You're going to be just like, oh God, I gotta go to work. Your attitude's going to suck. And when your attitude starts to suck, then you're going to go sink even lower down into obscurity in your company, right? So we look for that passion. We look for that excitement, right? So again, when you're talking about why you should advertise and sponsor with us, keep in mind, if I'm knocking on your door, I don't go around to every single business in this area and say, hey, you want to jump on? You want to be a sponsor? You want to be a part of it? No, I don't. I go to certain businesses that I believe are fantastic, very customer service oriented, take pride, and they care about their business. But it's just everybody's getting hit with hard times right now. It sucks. And we live in a world where you could do a million things right, and people barely give you any recognition. They barely will say, like, you could literally spend, you got people that'll spend 6 to 7 hours a day bad mouthing a business that does wrong or makes a mistake or anything like that. But when businesses do well and go above and beyond, nobody does anything. And that's sad. We are so quick to embrace the good than we are to, we're so quick to embrace the negative than we are to support the positive. So let's talk about the biggest issues that local businesses have, right? Like they're amazing at what they do, right? But a lot of times nobody knows they exist. Like, they don't know what they do, because unless they go inside, unless, like, everybody's so glued to their phone, so unless they're like posting on social media all day long, nobody's gonna know what they're doing, right? They can have the best food, the best products. I mean, you have the best motorcycle shop, the best photography, the best salon. I said, but if people never hear about you, none of that matters. Now, what's ironic is that I'm friends with a lot of business owners. And, you know, you got to remember, these people are also human beings too. Like, they got families, they got kids, they got side jobs, they've got, you know, health issues, whatever it is, whatever they're working on. You can't say, everyone can say, oh, business and personal separate. Yeah, well, it's not always easy to do that. But the thing is, like, so if they're not having time for the advertising and they're wearing 7 different hats already, a lot of these business owners are wearing 7 different hats already. But how do you get noticed? How do you get noticed out there? Because if you can't get noticed, if people never hear you, a lot of stuff you're doing just doesn't matter, you know? And it's consistency. A lot of it, like, I could post something on one day and it can get, you know, all these likes and shares and this and that, but next day, boom, I'm back down in the pipeline trying to get another hit, right? That's how it goes, right? But advertising has changed dramatically over the years, okay? Like, years ago, you bought a newspaper ad. Maybe you heard it on the radio. You saw a commercial on TV. Today, people will scroll Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They watch YouTube. They listen to podcasts. Businesses have to be everywhere. Like, your name has to be on someone's lips, in someone's mind, in front of their face with an advertisement. Otherwise, they forget it. Our minds have no staying power anymore. Okay, there's no longevity. They remember you and they forget you just like that. So you got to give them a reason. Why should I keep coming back to this? Because there are still a lot, and I mean a lot of brand loyal customers that they have a good experience. They will keep coming back. I know a lot of people that will go to, I don't know, I'll use the print industry again, right? So I could have a customer that comes to me and needs something like a printer or type of material or something, and I go and source all of this for them, and I get them a hell of a deal as a one-time courtesy, right? I'll knock it out of the park for them, because not everything's about a discount, right? So then what happens is they come back later on and they want the same thing. And if I say, look, I did it this last time, but this time you got to kind of give me a little bit something here to work with here. I can't give you a discount every single time. Otherwise, I'm not going to make any money. I'll probably lose my job and the doors will close, right? You can't do that. So at the end of the day, you know, they'll do, a good customer will say, all right, you're right. I got a good price from you last time. Let me work with you this time, and then we'll go back and forth. But 90% of the time, customers are like, oh, I'll just go somewhere else. And they forget you, right? But at the end of the day, we got to do things differently. Right, so I'm going to explain to you what we do for our customers, right? So Harley-Davidson. When I first went down there and I started having conversations with them about, you know, what's going on and what are we doing and what do you guys want to see come from this? Where do you want this to go? And at the end of the day, they were telling me, you know, look, where we need the advertising to be, what their plans were, long-term, short-term, anything like that, and what would be the next steps to help the business grow. So I sat there and I had conversation with them over and over, and we started having a conversation more about an event called Bike Night. Now, I said, all right, tell me more. They have you got a bike night coming up. All right. We could have simply just said, okay, everybody go to the bike night. All right. That's what we could have done. We could have just mentioned it on the episode, but no. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we get people to put more eyes on us, on the product, on the bike night, on Harley-Davidson. Okay, well, right away I connected with some of their advertisers, right? So you've got Zooted Vintage, who I looked at their store, I checked them out. Like, I actually want to go there and check these guys out. I'm definitely looking to connect with them when I get over to the bike night, right? But Dauntless Motorcycles, I clicked with right away. They're not even an advertiser on the show. Okay, I would love for them to be, but I want to get involved with their group, and I've already started to do work with them back and forth, and we've been promoting this event. They're one of the hosts of this. They're along with Zooted Vintage, along with Bikers Against Child Abuse, which is a great organization to work with, and also Untouchable Bike Rescue. These are guys and crews that literally are like, look, we're going to host this at Harley-Davidson. Okay. How do we get involved with them? I start tagging them in the posts. I start hitting them up. I start saying, what else can we do? Okay, and I noticed, okay, me being me, who's been in the graphics industry for like how many years, hey, there's no advertisements going around here for this. There's nothing going on here. So like, I went to a bar and a restaurant, Chelsea's, right up the road, like not even like literally, it's like 100 feet away. And I said, look, we're having a bike night here on Thursday night, August 13th. I would love for you to get involved because it ends at like 8 o'clock. And if these guys want to go somewhere afterwards to get food and drink and stuff like that, you're right up the road. I would love to have you go there. Not only did she sponsor it, pay for advertising in the way of a banner and yard signs and stuff like that, but she immediately said, I'll give out free wings. She'll bring a table, have free wings, everything else, right? That's solid. That's a lot to offer, to help out with something that, you don't know. People might say, oh, it might rain, people might be tired. They might not want to go anywhere, right? We might have to reschedule this whole thing. But it doesn't mean you have to build it as if, this is going to happen no matter what. You have to be ready. You have to get noticed. We've done flyers. We've done podcast promotion. We've done social media graphics. We've done banners. We've done yard signs. And it's starting to build momentum. And there's another opportunity that can come right after Bike Night, right? So it's not just about how I'm promoting this event for them. It's about future events. It's about what we can do afterwards going forward. But at the same time, look at the businesses that we're going to bring more work to. Need outdoor events. You always got a need for a food truck, right? Outdoor events, you got local vendors that want to come and advertise, want to be a part of it. Giving the print shops the business, right? You get sponsors on board. Additional motorcycle companies might say, hey, how do we get involved here, right? You got local restaurants that want to capitalize on this and say, hey, look, you guys got to eat, you guys got to drink, let's do this. Anyone who wants exposure can get involved in an event while helping the event, while supporting the event. By the way, the event is this Thursday, August 13th at the Williams Harley-Davidson on Route 22 in Lebanon, New Jersey. It's from 4 to 8. Definitely come out. It's going to be a great night. I'll be there with the Tough Talk podcast, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of great people here on Thursday night, and it's going to be something special. We're going to build on more events with them from there. So what you have is when all of these businesses come together, Zooted Vintage, Dauntless Motorcycles, Bikers Against Child Abuse, Untouchable Bike Rescue, the Tough Talk podcast, Flemington Chiropractic, who was also sponsoring the event with banners and signage and stuff like that, Chelsea's Pub. When you get all of these sponsors together, everybody wins. Everybody wins here. Harley-Davidson gets promotion. Okay? Dauntless Motorcycle gets promotion. Zooted Vintage, Bikers Against Child Abuse, Untouchable Bike Rescue, the Tough Talk. Everybody gets promotion. Everybody wins. That's literally what this is all about. So the podcast, for all you guys looking to do this in the future, the podcast becomes the nucleus. We become the center stage here for everybody to come in, be a part of it, and not just focus on the product, but focus on the connections. That's the important part in all of this, is the connections that you make. A lot of people and a lot of businesses focus on, okay, what did I get out of this on the first time out? Oh, it didn't make me any money. Listen, this is where, again, it is true. It's not a cliche statement. You do have to spend it to make it. You can do everything at no cost to yourself, but it is not easy, and it's going to take you a longer time, and you're not going to have what you need to put into it, and you're going to spend more time and effort, and it's not going to go anywhere. Like, it's just not, you're going to get left in the dust because more people are moving. I'm not saying, listen, go out and spend your life savings on investing in a business, but work with the right people, grow with the right partner, invest in the right platform. All right, so we are all over social media right now. We have people pushing us. Like, people want to ask, well, why do you need a merch store for a podcast? It's advertising. People can get quality merchandise right off our website, and they're working with us. Like, they're advertising for us. It's like you're trying to ask people to say, hey, look, buy this hoodie, buy this hat, buy this towel, get your name out there. Build your own brand, okay? But like, the philosophy of all of this is something that it takes time. It does, right? So when I don't wake up every morning and be like, all right, how can I sell another ad? Like, I actually look around at the people that are on my radar and say, who needs help? Like, which industries should know each other? How can I get more eyes on somebody's business? That's the philosophy. That's where I've changed, like, with the way I do business. So, full disclosure, I mean, I ran a graphics business and everything else, and signs and graphics were always my first love, right? But I tried my best to help a lot of people. And my business failed, right? Because it became too much. The costs were high. I was overwhelmed. And I couldn't save the ship, right? Because of rising costs. And I was giving wrestlers and business owners or anyone else who sold merch, listen, at the end of the day, here's the straight up facts. When it came to professional wrestling and how I helped them advertise, I would give the wrestlers very, very, very good pricing on shirts. I was using DTF transfers, and I would sell 100 shirts for $395. That's $4 a shirt. I know a lot of these guys are out there selling shirts for $20 a piece, right? And it became a lot. I had tried bringing on employees, and listen, when you got employees that you're paying a certain amount of money that are going to just press t-shirts for you, unfortunately, not everybody cares about your business the way you do, right? But I was more the face of the company. I was out there selling. I was out there getting deals done. I was doing the designing. I was doing the layout. Pressing was very time consuming for me. And so I tried hiring people to do it. And there was a lot of errors. There was a lot of mistakes. And it became a babysitting task. And I said, you know what? This is actually killing the reputation I built. And I can't get the work done in a timely manner. I've got to just close it all out, start fresh, and move on and and clean up the mess, right? That's where it went. But my passion, at the end of the day, is for helping people. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. I want to help people grow their business. And I don't need to, charge an exorbitant amount of money, to help somebody, okay? It's about building the relationships. You start with an introduction. Maybe get an interview, okay? Get a sponsor. We get an event booked. Get eyes on your product. Make a Facebook post. Get banners out there. Get Instagram on there. Make flyers. Make podcasts. All of it works together, right? And what I do now is basically how I found the ability to use myself, my references, my contacts in the industry, people that I know that I could bring business to. I use all of that to help businesses get noticed. And in reality, the cost that I carry is the cost of podcast subscriptions, to put everything out there, the cost of time, that and it's time, basically going around sitting with people and figure out what they need. So the cost is minimal, but the effort is great. It's about being in front of people at all times and constantly being able to say, all right, look, I don't have a switch that I need to do to turn it on. If I'm in front of somebody, I enjoy talking to people. I can talk to just about anyone. You ask the people closest to me, and they'll tell you that literally Dan can go into a room and find somebody that he connects with, and then you're talking to that person all night long, right? But this is what we're offering. Okay, so we're not just a podcast. What we're becoming is a one-stop marketing partner, right? You have podcast advertising. You have business interviews. We do commercials. We do social media ads for you. We have resources for photography and video. We have resources for custom apparel, signs, stickers, banners. Not through me, through our partnering companies. We have companies that work with vendor events. We do live announcements. We do community networking. We do promotion. We do marketing ideas, right? And everybody will probably turn around and say, yeah, well, it's probably going to be about $1,500 a month. No, it's not. I don't measure my success by dollars and downloads. I don't measure how popular the podcast is by how many likes we get on social media. Because let's face it, a lot of people on social media are getting likes in very fake ways. Posting fake stuff to get people to comment. I mean, there's a lot. I'm doing that in a whole nother episode, so I'm not going to go into it right now, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So I measure success by hearing that, Harley-Davidson had a great event. They got customers. People are mentioning our podcast. Our event that we have with Harley-Davidson was packed. The pizza places has got more people going in saying, hey, I heard about your place on the Tough Talk podcast. To me, that's all success. If I got customers that are coming back to me saying, I got business because of you, that's all I ask. That's all I ask. And the pricing, honestly, we're running promotions right now. We just signed a partnership with Bun Busters up in Easton, Pennsylvania. I got to sit down with the owner about 2.5 hours, and we talked. Didn't even discuss a single number. We talked about everything that he needs, everything that he's done, what his vision is, and what we could do for him. You've got 3 packages that we offer, okay? And one of which is $100 a month. That's our foundation partner, right? I'm going to post all this up on our social medias. We have a $100 package, then we have a $200 package, and our highest package costs $300 a month. And we're doing a program where if you buy two months at $300, or buy any package, buy any 2 months of any package, and you get the third one free, because our system works, and we don't compete against you, right? So, Harley-Davidson has a competitor right up the road. I told them, if you sign up with us, we're not going there. Because it's conflicting. Like, why would I want to sign up your competition? That's like me saying I'm going to go film an episode over at McDonald's, and right after that, I got to go film content for Burger King. Makes no sense. None. Let another podcast do that, right? But the thing is, like, we make sure that you're not feeling like you're just a sponsor. You're literally a part of the program. You're a partner in the mission here. And the goal is to build something together. And the Tough Talk podcast is like, look, we're committed to helping local businesses get seen, heard, supported. Like, we all grow together. And that's literally my go home with this, is that if we don't understand now more than ever, that we have to start treating other businesses like the enemy, and start treating people like partners, and people that we could work together with and build something, have long-lasting impact. That's where we need to be. Businesses who are doing that now more than ever are the ones that are growing. They're the ones that are getting it. So look at me. I don't need my podcast to be the biggest podcast, right? But I want it to become the most valuable local business network in the community. Like, if your business succeeds, we succeed. If your grant grows, we grow. If more people know your name, we've done our job. That's it. It's not a sales pitch. That's a process. It's a business plan. So how do I make it all make sense to you, right? So if you're listening to this episode, you got to think to yourself, if you're a small business owner, or if you're running an event, or if you're opening a new location, if you got something worth talking about, contact me. We build it together. We're not just doing commercials here. This isn't some kind of cheesy sales pitch. It's real, okay? We give you a complete marketing strategy, because, listen, we don't just advertise businesses. We help build them. That's what we do. All right? So at the end of the day, consider what your business needs. Write them down. Reach out to me on social media. Get in touch with me. Let's schedule a meeting. Let's sit down. This is the only type of sales pitch episode podcast that I do, but it's not a sales pitch. I look at it as more of a message. There's a lot of businesses out there that do really great things, and they don't have a lot of eyes on their product, and it's unfortunate. I'm here to change that. That's my goal. So grow with us and be a part of something real. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Tough Talk podcast. I hope you found it to be very informative, very helpful, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you guys soon. Have a great Tuesday. Take care. This episode of the Tough Talk Podcast is proudly brought to you by you. That's right. If you got a business, a brand, or something you believe in, this is your shot to get it in front of real, engaged audiences. At the Tough Talk Podcast, we don't do any fluff. We don't do any nonsense. We connect with real people who take action. So if you're looking to grow your brand, promote your business, or even get your message heard, advertise with us. Send us a DM, reach out to us through email at builtramtough@icloud.com, and let's start building something that actually works. The Tough Talk Podcast. Real talk, real people, bigger impact.